Hello and welcome to Dabbling in Journals, and I have my Hobonichi planner for 2023 here, which is super exciting. Comes in new packaging this year, which is made from paper and greaseproof paper, and I'm hoping to house it in this Sojourner Folio. Now I purchased this Preloved from eBay. So another eBay bargain for me. I was so happy when I found it. I don't know if you watch my channel and you've seen my other videos, you might remember that I purchased this Sojourner cover from eBay, and I really love it, and I was really excited to find it on eBay, but it had the scoop pocket, and what I would really have loved would have been this designer pocket, and I found one with the designer pocket, and it has the clip mark, which is much coveted by people who like the designer pocket, including me. So I found this on eBay and I was just so happy. There was no way I could pass it by, and it's in the caribou leather, which scratches up really easily. In fact, it reminds me very much of the Traveller's Company leather, which also, as you can see, scratches up and wrinkles and kind of wrinkles on the spine. And what I'm going to do, given this was a bargain, a pre-loved item, so obviously I didn't pay full price, I am going to pluck up my courage and punch a hole in it so that I can have an elastic closure, because it hasn't come with an elastic closure. So I will do that on camera and you can share the trepidation and excitement with me. But first, let's open the Hobonichi. Oh, I'm going to struggle so much waiting until 2023 to actually use this. Oh my goodness. And here we go. We've got the little, oh, look at that, gingerbread man. What a lovely leaflet. And it's got pictures of different entries that people have put into their Hobonichis, which is really cool. I shall have a closer look at those. I love the illustrations. They're really cool. What a really nice leaflet this year. See, I haven't had a Hobonichi for a few years now, so this is super exciting for me. Oh, and this is the Testimony River paper for the 2024 edition. So they've given you a little piece in passport size to try out. So I shall do that shortly. And this is the information about the planner. Cool. Now, I'm sure if you're watching this video, you've all seen a Hobonichi A6 techo. This is the English version, which is really lovely. Lovely paper. Little bit of blank paper at the end, so I can do some pen tests shortly. And so what I want to do is house it in this Sojourner, which is so beautiful. Really love this, and I'm going to carry it around. It's going to be my sort of everyday carry, everything I feel like notebook. I carry a journal around with me, and I just wanted to carry a notebook as well because I'm obsessed with them. So let's pop that in. I don't know why I'm doing that because I want to pinch a hole, don't I? Look at that for a perfect fit. Oh, it's so lovely. I'm going to have to make some kind of pen loop as well, or come up with a pen loop solution for my pen. Although I suppose a pen could go, if I got a pen knocking around, a pen could just go in the pocket, couldn't it? Like so. Or I can make a pen loop and put the pen here. I will see. So let's go about punching some holes. So I want to punch a hole in the spine of this one. So let's take that back out of the way for a moment. And what I'm going to do, I've got a cutting board here so that I don't punch a hole in my desk. And I guess I ought to not just eyeball it, I should actually try and make sure that I put it in the middle, shouldn't I? So I'm just going to take a ruler, and my ruler's not long enough. So let's take another ruler and see. Right. That says 16 centimetres. It's a centimetre ruler. So I need to make a mark at about 8. So here, do you think that's the middle? Just checking that's the middle. So that is 24 and 12, and that was the middle. So, okay, now I'm going to make a hole with this tool. I don't know if it will go through leather, but we're about to find out. It's a Frisk hole punch, and the great thing about this hole punch is you can put it wherever you want the hole, unlike one of those crocodile type that you I'm doing the actions. Oh, I don't know how to explain, because I don't even have one of those to show you, but I'm going to do it with this. And so what you do is you just put it where you want the hole, and then it's got a like big spring, so watch out, it'll probably shake the camera and it's going to make a really loud noise. So 1, 2, 3, go. That made my dog go away. 1, 2, 3. And not gone all the way through yet, so let's do a couple more. Hope I got it in the right place. And I've made a hole. So I now have a hole for my elastic. It's quite a big hole actually. I hope I'm going to be able to do a knot big enough. And let's get some elastic. So here I have some Traveller's Company elastic. It's one of the repair kits. And let's have a look and see. Shall I go with red to match the stitching, or brown to match the leather? I think I'll go brown. I'm not really a bright colour girl, am I? I'm very much a brown person. So let's put the elastic through. And I don't know how much I'm going to need. There we go, about that much. So let me just snip that off with some scissors and make a knot. See if that's about right. Okay, and so now I have an elastic closure. I really do like having an elastic closure, I must say. And so I can put my book back in now that I've got a closure. And I just pulled out a couple of things I just thought for now that I would put in here. Now this cover doesn't have pockets as such, but it's got these 2 slots. So I've got a little envelope here that's just got some stickers in it. Just random sticker flakes. So I thought I could put that in here. She says, there we go. And then in the back, I thought I would put these, which are from Sticky Club, and they're just little page tags. So if I put something in here that I want to transfer to my main planner, I can just put a little tag to remind me to do it. So I thought I would keep those in here. And the last thing I thought I might keep in here, I got this in this week's, well this month, sorry, Sticky Club pack, and it's a sticker release booklet, a little tiny one, look. I haven't put any stickers in it yet, but obviously I can put stickers in here. Let me just grab a sticker to demonstrate. So I guess these were some stickers that I had out earlier, and if I want to keep one of them in here, go with this little, well, let's go with this one right in the corner. This little globe. And then I can just keep a variety of different stickers in the little book, and then when I want to use them in my planner I can just peel them off of this sticker release paper and it just comes off really easily. I think this is really cool. It's a really tiny size, but you'll get quite a few stickers in there, wouldn't you? And I thought I can just slip it in the back here and I've got it with me on the go. Now whether or not I'll actually keep that in here sort of long term, I don't know yet, but I'm going to keep it in there for now while I decide. And let's just check out my closure that I've made. Perfect. Really happy with that. So that's come out really, really well. It looks really clean and neat, don't you think? I'll see if I can zoom in. So that's just a little video to show you how to punch a hole in a folio or traveller's notebook if you should so wish, like me, especially if you have one that doesn't have an elastic closure and you'd like to have an elastic closure. These little tools are fairly inexpensive. I'll see if I can find one and link it in the description in case you want to do something similar. You do end up with a little piece of leather stuck in there that you're going to have to poke out, but that's like fairly easy to do. In fact, it's gone already. I don't know where. Somewhere, or is it still poking in there? There we go. So that's the tiny weeny little piece of leather, whoops, that I punched out. So that is the size of the hole. And obviously you can use these to punch holes in tags. So if I'm making a tag, let me have a look. Say I take one of my little LCN design tags and I decide I want a hole in it. It's really easy to do exactly where I want the hole with this little tool. So they're really cool. I don't know what they're called, but I will find one and I'll link it in the description, as I said. Okay, so before I go, I just wanted to share a book that I bought with you all because it's the kind of book that some of you might be interested in. And it's by Abbey Sy. And she has a channel on YouTube, a journaling channel, so I'm sure lots of you probably are familiar with her or follow her. I actually only discovered her channel recently, which is really surprising because I've been watching journaling channels for so long, but it just depends what the YouTube algorithm throws up to you or whatever. Anyway, it's a really cool book. It's called The Art of the Travel Journal, and I know that you can get like a sneak peek on Amazon sometimes where they do that look inside, but it always seems to be that they just show you sort of right the first few pages and you can't really see what the book's like. So I thought I would just share it very quickly here in case any of you would like it. So she starts off with some stuff which is sort of beginner focused. So we've got a definition of journaling terms. It's all illustrated by her lovely little illustrations that she does in her, like she does in her journals. So that's really cool. So I'll have a go at copying some of those. And then she talks about the history of travel journaling, and it's all quite brief, but it's interesting. How to start a travel journal and the benefits of a travel journal. So it's very much focused at the beginning of the book on a beginner, but that's sort of a small section. The next section is on materials, what sort of materials it's useful to have for travel journaling. I love looking at the photos, and I don't know if any of you are like me. I'm always interested in what other people use, and I found myself looking up some of these things to see, you know, what they were like and what else was on offer from those companies and so on. So that was really interesting, and she shows how to use watercolors in a journal, not as a painter as such, but how to do little watercolor sketches in a journal. But the bit of the book that I really enjoy is the illustrations, which give you examples of ways in which different journals are used. So here's a page from her journal, for example. I'll just zoom in on that if I can. And then she carries on. We've got stuff about composition, how to collect different things, how to make these really cool little pockets. just zoom in on those so you can make these little pockets and stick them in your journal to keep bits of ephemera in. I thought that was a really good idea. But the bit I really wanted to share, so I don't want to share everything because that's not fair on the author of the book, but the thing that I really wanted to share, I mean, she's got all these like lovely journaling spread ideas, which I'm not going to zoom in on. You need to purchase the book if you want to see all of those. But yes, the bit, I keep saying, don't I, because I can't get to it. Right at the end of the book, oh, we've got hand lettering here, which is really cool. But right at the end of the book, somewhere when we get there, she's got guest artists. And there is examples of journal pages from different journalers. And I'm sure you'll find, if you are a journaler, that you are familiar with some of these. So we've got Jane Lee and Julia Morochenko. Sorry, Julia, I don't know how to say your name. Melissa Tan, Helen Colebrook, she's a UK journaler, and it gives you in this lovely sort of small space all these different styles of journaling. We've got Job, well, Job, I mean, I'm sure you all watch Job, his channel's a real delight. Julia, Christine Herring, Chelsea Park, Mitz, My Life Mitz, do you all follow her? Obviously she's one of the like founders, it feels to me like, of YouTube journaling. I don't know if that's true, but she was one of the first ones I ever came across, so I had, you know, I feel like she's influenced me a lot. Her community is really big though, so the trouble with some of these really big journalists is I feel like you don't really get to know them because the communities they have following them are so big. And Kaylee Gray. So that's just a little flip, just giving you an idea. So this sort of beginning section of the book is all that stuff on how to and what to use. So that's that amount of the book is really focused on a beginner. But the rest of the book, which is that fat, has lots of lovely ideas and lots of different spreads to look at and inspire you. And look at all those coffee cups. I'm just going to zoom in on that one. Really enjoy looking at other people's journals and getting inspiration from them. So if you find that of interest, you might want to purchase this book by Abbey Sy, which you can find on Amazon, and I will put a link below. I'm not sort of affiliated to her or anything. I'm sure she doesn't know of my existence, but I just really enjoyed her book and wanted to share it with you all. Oh, before I go, I wanted to test the paper on my Hobonichi, didn't I, for you? So let's get this Hobonichi back out. And we had the new paper, which was at the back somewhere. What have I done with it? Where did it go? Oh, it's that. Yeah, I'm thinking that was a leaflet, but of course that is actually a teeny tiny version of the paper. So I'm going to take my most used pen. And it doesn't follow that this is the pen that I will use in here, but I use this pen a lot. So let's start. I'll go to a blank page at the end. What's this? My 100. Would I use that? I don't know. We'll use one of these dotty pages right at the end of the journal just to try the paper. I just want to compare it with this new paper that's going to be in the next journals. So if I put Kueko, and then I'm going to do the same thing on here. I can see it's still wet. And this is a stub nib, so it's a really thick nib. Now, to me, that paper feels exactly the same. You know, I wouldn't be able to tell. They're both still wet. So because this paper doesn't bleed, it does mean that the drying time can be slow, but you just need some blotting paper or patience. That one's just dried. That one's nearly dry because obviously I wrote it slightly afterwards. I'm just checking for bleed through. Nothing. Nothing. Let's try a darker ink. So here we've got the TWSBI, which is a very popular pen, and I've got a dark brown ink in this one. So let's just try TWSBI. Again, a stub nib. TWSBI, put stub nib, and I'll do the same on this one for the new paper. I mean, I have to say I'm no expert, but it just feels exactly the same to me. So I don't know, let's try another kind of pen. I'm going to take a dark colour. This is India ink, a Faber-Castell India ink. I like these for hand lettering. Let's see if they'll work on this paper. So I just write hello. Not that I'm any good at hand lettering. One day I might master it. And all I want to do is see whether or not the ink bleeds. Not at all. Obviously you get ghosting on this really thin paper, but it doesn't actually come through. And that's thick, dark India ink. This is waterproof ink. Let's try it on a new paper. Felt the same. Still wet because obviously I've just done it. We've got no bleed through. That looks beautiful. What else might I use? Well, of course, as we just saw from Abby's book, a lot of us use watercolour. So let's try some watercolour. I'm just going to look in my pouch, grab some watercolour. I'll just use one of these paint brushes, what they called water brushes. And I'll use a bit of this, shall I, that's already in the lid. Probably off camera. I'm just using a little bit of this watercolour that's already in the lid. Oops. And I want to see how that works on this paper. Oh, it slides on beautifully. It's really good for colouring on journal pages, watercolour, because it dries relatively quickly and it's compact to take with you when you're travelling. And we'll just wait for that to dry. Now as that dries you can see the paper wrinkling, which is typical of watercolour on Tomoe River paper, and we're getting that on both. So we've got a bit of wrinkling behind there and a bit of wrinkling behind there. I would really struggle. I'd be interested to know if anybody knows of anyone who has tested both these papers and thinks they've noticed some interesting differences. Do let me know, because I am not a paper expert. I just use what I like. As far as I can see with this new paper, I would be just as happy to have this in my Hobonichi as their current Tomoe River paper. So it's not going to be a problem for me. I don't know whether or not it's going to be a problem for any of you. If there's anything else that you would like me to test on this paper, which I can pop into my next video for you, do let me know in the comments. And all that remains is for me to say thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again very soon. Bye.